On tonight's show, the casual is stuck in customs after Chicago. Are you choosing Sunlion or Moonbat? And winter's coming. Welcome back to the Incensed podcast, people. I was going to introduce by saying casual, rural, and watertight fast move. How are you doing? But it is myself, Mark, and Ian tonight. How are you both doing?
Can we honestly say that we're surprised that Coops isn't here?
I think you can say that.
I think he's in examination room.
I think they got the latex gloves out, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely stuck in Heathrow.
As he was leaving, they probably said, why are you leaving America? Surely you only travel to Canada and back. So I think maybe that confused them somewhat, possibly.
It's like your travel documents don't add up here.
Yeah.
They don't match.
Winter's here, Milo. It ain't coming. It's here.
Well, the pissing rain is here. That's for damn sure. It's just the three of us tonight. It should be a nice chilled one, I think.
I think it's going to be a chill one. I think it's going to be nice and chill.
Now, listeners, you should probably...
Pop your incenses, champions. Let's go.
And we'd love it if you could tag us on Twitter or Instagram at Incensed Podcast, or even via Campfire or on our email, incensedpodcast@yahoo.com, if you get something nice while listening to the show.
Or Hive.
Or Hive. Okay, Ian, promote that random social media.
That was a very random promotion there, Ian. I like that.
Everyone's jumping shit.
Is there
everyone's going to Hive.
any other social media platform that we're on, Ian? Like, give us a list.
TikTok, we tried that, didn't we?
That's currently it. MySpace.
MSN Messenger, all of that. Throw it back to 2006. Anyway, drop in the hashtag Shinies of the Week.
Clarify the spelling for
That
me.
is SHINIESOFTHEWEEK.
And now, children, it's time for Getting to Know You with the Incensed Podcast.
You know I've got a tendency for random questions. It's a shame that Coopsy isn't here to answer this. I would like to hear what he would have liked to have said. But, boys, what is something that you think is overrated, and why do you think it's overrated? And this can be anything.
I'm going to jump in and I'm going to cause some real controversy between the three of us.
We love controversy.
And Milo, I say this with love, and it has only happened in the last 2 years.
Is it my fault?
No.
I was going to say podcasts.
No. I used to love podcasts until we started doing one, and even though I have the easiest job of it, I bloody hate it now. But I think Formula One is extremely overrated. And I will tell you for why. Integrity, I think, is important in anything which you take part in sport. However, Formula One, ever since the end of last season, not the one that's just ended, the season before, 2021, that actually a sport that admits that the rules were broken, not followed through correctly, the protocol was not followed, yet still carried on and didn't have a backbone to change the result of the race, and then sequential then carry into a new season which has just finished with said same team over their budget, which makes it unfair where you have these things breaking the new rules. And yet still, okay, a monetary fine, which, you know, let's be honest with you, that contributed to them walking away with it yet again. I just think it's really just lost all integrity, and that's why I think Formula One. Now, don't get me wrong, Milo. I've travelled to Australia not to watch Formula One, but watched it there.
Coops isn't here. I had to.
No, do it, mate. Do it.
It's been the first time Mark mentioned Australia for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't understand people that would travel over to watch it because they're fans of it. Because I genuinely, and I say this with love, it's over very quickly. And I know there's more than just the race day, and I get that. And do you know what? Each to their own. But I think it is very overrated now, purely. But the fact that everyone I think that really loves Formula One has probably fallen out of love with it a little bit. There's no honesty in it, is there, mate? Let's be brutally honest. You're watching a sport where they literally just hear the rules, but you don't really need to follow them now. It's like...
It's problematic, to say the least. Now, I'd respect the choice, to be honest. After hearing about the shenanigans from this year's season, not
We're not even going to mention them, are we, Milo?
Sure
we don't deserve to be mentioned.
We're not sponsored by them, so I guess it's okay. There's no official tie there, but I don't want to piss anybody off. Too late, perhaps. No, I'm with you. They do get reduced, like, wind tunnel time, I think. But if you go over the budget cap, which was set as a new rule for this year, so yeah, this year certainly I've lost a bit of my love for Formula One, so I understand that, dude.
Well, I think we should say this together because I know we're both on the same page.
Okay, well, this is where I was hoping that Coops would be on, because then it would be... it's not just going to be us saying what we think is overrated versus Mark, but you go first, Ian.
I think we're both going to say the same thing, football, or to the American audience, soccer. Basically because the players are overpaid, they act like big girls. I know we can't say big girls, but who cares? I'm putting it out there. They act like big girls. They do what they want. They think they're above everybody. And ultimately, they run around kicking a ball. It's not that big a deal. They're not that special.
Sheep's pancreas.
I can vouch for Ian not liking football, and I can vouch for Mylan not liking football, because when you boys came over and did the Rural Com Day with me, first time we all met together, by the way, which was very nice.
Yes.
England had a pretty epic quarter-final match on from memory in the Euros, and you two couldn't give a flying rat's knackers, could you, about what was going on in it?
I seem to remember I was editing my video all night.
I think I was drinking and looking the other way.
Very much so.
Well, again, this is where I feel a bit bad, because I was going to say football for a lot of the same reasons that Ian has testified to. The main thing for me is I just don't get a lot of the players and what they do.
Not a lot.
If you're doing the game and the amount of money that goes into it, then you read a story. I remember reading a story years and years ago about some footballer who was quite famous, and he set off fireworks in his own home.
Oh, Balotelli.
That's his name.
Yeah, Balotelli.
And then they put a picture of him up there, and he looks like he's got a whipped cream Brazilian on his head.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, dude? Why? I know you've got more money than sense, but why are you setting fireworks off in your flat? And it doesn't do them any favours. It doesn't do them any favours, really.
We did that when we were 14 on our first overseas trip at school. I remember doing that in France, 14. It was fireworks or firecrackers in the bedroom.
But you're a kid.
You're
a teenager, you're allowed to be stupid.
You could justify when your brain isn't fully developed, but when you're actually a functioning or supposedly functioning adult earning millions, really it's not justifiable, is it?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I do agree with you on that.
It's just I know that isn't there tomorrow or 2 days ago from the time of putting this episode out, England versus the USA for the World Cup.
Yes.
And I remember watching them play. I think, was it 2010 was the World Cup where I remember watching those two play, and it was one of the dullest things I've ever seen, because they had it on in school, and I was sitting there going nothing's happening. I'm sorry, it's just not for me. So I do think that football is very overrated, certainly nowadays.
I think the thing that doesn't help with football is exactly what you said. You hear a lot of similar childish, ridiculous behaviour, don't you? And when you look at the numbers, don't get me wrong, Formula 1 drivers are paid not a bad salary. Let's get that. Let's
good,
get
yeah.
They're paid stupidly as well.
I wouldn't say no.
Exactly.
I think most professional sports people are paid quite handsomely, aren't they?
Yeah. There's a small pool of Formula 1 drivers, aren't there? And there's a vast pool of people that play professional football. And let's be brutally honest, Balotelli wasn't paying fuel for everybody when the prices were this high, was he? He was doing it back in the day when it was a bit cheaper. But I love stories like that. But this will be an interesting one to go to the poll. A tour.
There's two options. We've actually got two more things in the chat, so we'll bring two more options to the poll.
It'd be quite interesting, football versus Formula 1, but I
think it would be.
In the chat, Sue, our lovely American connection, is saying that she believes In-N-Out is overrated. Now, I've got to say, I love In-N-Out burger, so personally
I can't comment.
I can't comment. I didn't know what that is.
Mainly West Coast.
So it's not Europe then. So it's purely American, is it?
Yeah, so we're in the dark here, Marky Boy. We have no idea.
It's a burger chain. But they do amazing food, all cooked to order. And then Emma,
I fully agree,
says Love Island is overrated.
You
know what? I fully agree with you totally.
Love Island is just sadly today's entertainment. You think, who are these people? Who are these people?
They're nobody. They're just random people.
Oh, God.
Go on a TV show.
Fewer brain cells than a single-celled organism. It's just abysmal.
It was quite funny, actually, because where I work, one of a contact that we know through one of our suppliers or manufacturers, he probably is every father's worst dream. I can only imagine it is when you find out that your daughter is going on to Love Island, and his daughter went on to Love Island, and she was meeting up with family before she went on
Disowned.
And put it this way, I think she lasted about 4 days on there, and even she had to vastly change her personality to try and fit in on there, and everyone's going, she's all right,
wow.
She's a nice girl. Within a couple of days I go, oh my God, who is she? It was to survive on that show, she had to vastly change and drop probably all her morals, to try and sort.
I'm sure her father would have much rather she ended up on the street corner than that TV show, genuinely.
Yes. Oh dear God. We have actually got 4 options, courtesy. Thank you to
definitely thank you
Patreons in the chat helping us out.
Yes, thank you.
I can hear Mark's poll eagerly awaiting the tail end of the show. But before we press on, as per the last few weeks, we find ourselves in the early stages of a new Pokemon GO event that we couldn't bring you the details of last week because it hadn't been announced due to probably the Singapore Safari Zone going on. Hope everyone had a good time. Guys, the Astral Eclipse event has begun, which is the tail end of the Season of Light. Let's just have an open little free chat about our initial thoughts on the Astral Eclipse event, perhaps a reflection on the Season of Light, maybe the high, the low points of it, because this is another 3-month block done.
Yes, and my thoughts around it is I still haven't evolved my Cosmog.
Yay.
The event literally started, I think it was today actually, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
I've played very little. However, the spawns are pretty good. There's a lot of money around. There are a lot of nice spawns around, which could be quite tasty shinies. So it doesn't look too bad. I'm not holding my breath. At some point in the next couple of weeks, I am probably going to have to buckle and evolve my Cosmog.
Who can hold his breath the longest? He's not holding his breath.
I think I took that crown.
Milo actually beat me, yes.
Back in
Milo beat me.
August of 2021. You can find that video, that challenge.
Willen Lake.
On our
yes.
YouTube channel.
He tickled you, Ian.
I think Coops sprayed me with lager. I think.
And the people behind us.
The person behind us, the rather large woman behind us, was not impressed.
No.
Because you're so far behind on the journey, aren't you, boys? Because you've got 2 lots of chunks of research to do.
Technically only this one, perhaps, because I think they evolved to Cosmoem, and then that was the
one,
end of that
it?
block
Yeah.
of research. Yeah, that's the thing. Disappointingly, there's only been 3 stages. But Marky Boy, have you had a chance to have a little look into the Astral Eclipse event?
I've really not been playing the game much just recently, and that's just purely down to real life, as we all sort of say.
It gets you.
Adulting, yes.
Adulting, exactly. Now, I haven't really given it any thought. I did evolve my Cosmog straight away because it was a rubbish one. I've got no sentimental attachment to where I caught it from, so it doesn't really bother me.
I must say, I haven't either. I'm just being obstinate. I don't like to be told I have to do it.
Learning new words on the Incensed podcast.
Obstinate.
Obstagoon.
Obstagoon. Yeah. Obstagoon. I was lazy. I evolved mine straight away. I've just done mine into Solgaleo because Solgaleo looks awesome. I didn't even know what it looked like until after I evolved it. I went, yeah, I've done the right thing here. Solgaleo. Love it. It looks pretty cool, to be fair. But for me, it's about Munna and Young Goose. 2 shines I still haven't got in the game. They're spawning everywhere, and I feel like this is my last chance this year to certainly get one of those. Munna, a bit like one of our patrons, HermesNinja, Sue, got her first one ever, and it is an amazing shiny, and there's so many of them. So in the very limited time I've played it, and it has been very limited, I have seen enough of those spawns to make me think, do you know what, if I did have a bit of time to get my head down, I think there's an opportunity there, certainly for others to do that. Good array of spawns, unfortunately everything else looks a bit poor, really. The raids, the eggs, all that stuff, it seems to have gone for...
And the collection challenges, literally all that work, and you get, was it 3,000 Stardust for each one?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is technically more than you get from catching all the mons. But yeah, it's like the collection challenge. It's like you do it just to get the collection medal, don't you? It's like, oh, I got up to, what was it now, 80 collection challenges, I think, is the maximum potentially you could get. I have to somewhat echo, obviously, what you guys are saying. It's sort of an inoffensive event. It smacks a little bit of a copy of what they did, if you remember the season of Alola, where they did the Alola to Alola event, and it was like, here's a week where we're putting everything sort of from the last 3 months into one. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the spawns and stuff that are kind of from previous events and releases drop back in. Raids are alright. It's nice to see Nihilego go back in the raids. But personally, I didn't really need anything from this event. So it's like, can I get some tiny Rattata again? To which the answer is no.
Oh, Milo, you and your little tiny
I'm
Rattata.
catching every rat I see, but I'm just, they're all too big.
Bro, the problem is the Alolan Rattata scale is much bigger than the Kanto rat. Alolan Rattata just doesn't really work very well for collecting tiny Rattata for that medal.
But the sky's pretty cool. It's nice
to see the nebula sky. It does look very, very cool.
It's stunning, actually. Let's just cut to the chase. It's stunning. What they've done with the game is absolutely beautiful, and I'm quite excited that we're going to have this leading into the festive period, because you mark my words.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
Just imagine what they could do leading up to Christmas with a map.
Because everyone loves it when it snows in game, and like it's the only time people don't complain if the in-game weather's not quite accurate. It's like, it's snowing in the game. Yes.
You see people tweeting out going, it's snow. Oh my God.
And look, you're taking your pictures out. You go, it's snowing. It looks beautiful. I want it to be like that for the whole of the Christmas event.
Oh, if it was like that for the whole of December, that would be amazing.
It would be beautiful.
Find out next week, I guess.
We will do when we actually get some new season news. Mark made mention, when we were talking about Cosmog, of the season-long research that we've had. And when they announced this back at the tail end of August that we're going to do this segmented research over the course of a season, I was thinking very similar to what we did for the season of Mischief in 2021 for Hooper and then Hooper Unbound.
So you get a little bit every week.
A little bit in various events. But this time it's only been 3 stages. There's been 3 unlocks, 1 per month. The Hooper Unbound research, I think, was 16 stages long from memory.
Yeah, it was a marathon.
I looked at that and I was like, why did they make this one so short?
Because Niantic are short on staff, so they probably just couldn't put a lot of time into making
Perhaps.
They've got 5% less staff, apparently. Working at Niantic.
Wow.
They're 5% smaller, Ian.
But they do have a new community manager.
If only we'd wished for that a couple of weeks ago. And the 5% increase.
5% more staff.
5% more staff for Niantic. I just think it's like, come on, like put a little bit more, have a few more things tied in with like maybe the event spawns or something like that, because it did feel a bit like weeks since the last stage of research, and you don't even remember what the research task was. For a season-long research, it's been very disconjoined.
All I remember is getting star U's in every single stage.
You're going to get more.
You're going to get even, well, that's if I continue with it.
You're going to get more of them. Have a little bit of reflection. Like this season, we've had ups and downs and stuff. We obviously had the Halloween season in the midst of it. We've had Shiny Ray Bosses released. We've had now a month or 2 weeks of Guzzlord clogging the raids up, and now Nihilego.
Nihilego's now in raids.
Yeah. Are we impressed? Are we happy with how the Season of Light went? Or
no,
a bit deflated?
It's been a messy season. It's not been well thought out. It's not been well implemented, and I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more structured. It has felt very messy.
Was that in terms of just sort of events and all releases and things like that?
To me, anyway, there just doesn't seem to have been any coherence to it. The only coherence is the fact that you get a star you with every stage of the research.
One consistent factor.
Yes.
I agree with Ian. You know, I think I got bored with Season of Alola when it was getting towards the end of it. I was going, we still got this going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty boring. And I'm trying to be respectful of people that are joining the game at certain points. You've obviously got to be respectful of that. It feels just so disjointed. It feels there was some really good bits in it, don't get me wrong, but I do think as someone who's quite casually hasn't really gave any thought to it, just got, I don't care about my Cosmo, I'll just evolve it. I don't like the way they've made people have to go down a pathway with something. It doesn't quite feel right. Everyone's got a Pokemon.
There should have been a path where if you didn't want to evolve it, it would still have let you carry on with the research.
I'd have liked that.
Because they can do branched research. We've seen that in the past.
Exactly. Like, I've got Pokemon that I'm never going to evolve that are sat there. And if I'd been put in that position on this research, I had to do it to that one, I would have been the same as you boys. And it's easy for me to go, well, I just did it. But there was no attachment to that one. And there'll be other ones. I'll be like, no, not a chance. I don't know, Ian. I think it's a bit of copy and paste, isn't there, with a lot of these things? It just feels a bit...
Well, there is, but let's compare and contrast. The season of Go was probably the best season we've had for a long time.
You can't realistically compare because that's the Go Fest
Of course
season.
you can. I mean, it was the Go Fest season, but that whole season was amazing.
Yeah, it was very well put together and everything linked.
That's the sort of meat in the sandwich, if you will. And then we've had, like you say, the season of Light. We've had the season of, what was Mischief before that?
We had the season of Heritage.
The season of Alola. Sorry.
Season of Heritage kicked off 2022.
Oh, God, yeah.
No, so I mean either side of the season of Go. So the season of Alola,
yeah.
and the season of Light. And they've both been fairly lackluster.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say.
Well, we've had a sandwich of Ultra Beasts, haven't we? Because we had Katana and Celesteela in September with the North and Southern Hemisphere splits. And only really October had like juicy raid bosses where even the casual himself went, I'm going to raid for Shiny Yveltal.
Yeah, Giratina.
Giratina, that he still hasn't stopped talking about it. In fact, our messages in the group chat is just him. He just puts Giratina in the message, doesn't respond to anything.
Even
properly.
now, and it's not been in raids for weeks.
Yeah, so could someone send me a Giratina? It's 3 weeks late. Can't do it. But it does feel that sort of disconjoined, like, oh no, we need to put an event out, let's do this. I think we've only had maybe 4 new Pokemon added throughout the season. We had the Todger Damaro, one of our personal favourites. Morlo was dropped for the Festival of Lights.
Since that event, we've not seen.
Yeah, dropped for the Festival of Lights, and now it's disappeared. Genuinely, despite the fact we run a podcast surrounding Pokemon Go and we make content on the stuff, I genuinely can't remember what the other ones are. That's how bland and insignificant it feels it's been.
Tough 3 months. Now let's hope the next season is something special. So over the holidays, but bear in mind this will run from December through to the end of February.
Yeah, and it's more than likely going to coincide with Hoenn Tour, wrapping it up like we saw with Johto
Which obviously
Tour.
will be at the end of February, yes.
Emma in the chat saying, only my 3rd season playing and it's my least favourite. And I think that says a lot.
I think we can echo that sentiment.
2 things that may be quite fun. If you noticed a recent update that went out and increased the speed of the game by what felt like 2 or 3 times.
The animations are quite a bit quicker. It's almost like you're playing on 120%.
It's brilliant. Gifting. Wow, I actually do it.
So much smoother, yep.
I actually do it. It's nice and smooth and quick.
Every animation seems to have been speeded up by at least 20-25%. It's so much better.
With the exception of evolving. Sort that out next, please. Thank you.
Evolving. And GBL's taken a hit.
But let's face it, GBL.
I've just seen on Twitter, everything's running smoothly except GBL. This is now even detrimentally worse than it was before.
And I want to just jump in there because there will be people listening to this going, Mark, don't be an idiot. If you speed up evolving, you can gain more XP on a lucky egg. That takes away the struggles or what everyone's been used to it. There's no problem with, but there will be people thinking that. I've got an idea, a bit like with games, like you said, where you speed it a bit. Why not speed the timer on the lucky egg so it almost goes hand in hand with the speed of the animation? So you could have a 30-minute lucky egg, evolving that takes you 25 seconds, whatever it is. Speed it up like it is, make it 12.5 seconds to go through it, or whatever it looks like. But still maybe make the time of the lucky egg go down 25 seconds. I don't really care. Just take away that animation because it is infuriating.
It is very long.
It's a good idea, but you're going to get people moaning if they did
You're
that.
going to get people moaning either way.
You're robbing me of time. Yes.
Oh, God, yeah. Leave it how it is, Niantic. Don't change it, thank you.
I paid 80 coins for this lucky egg.
I'm not making it go faster than it should.
Oh, well. Anyway, and before we just round out, because by the time you listen to us again next week, it will be December. We've got, obviously, Ultra Beast's kind of raid day thing that's going on.
Well, that's on Sunday. That'll be today if you're listening.
When you're listening to it on the day of drop-in.
But yesterday.
Well, this is it. Ian and myself are going to the one event that's happening in London. There's an event in London and there's an event in LA, and they are kind of weird Ultra Beast arrival things. So next week we'll be able to give you an insight into what the live event was actually like over at Riverside Terrace.
Because we currently have very little idea what we're walking into.
We have no idea.
The venue isn't particularly large. Attendance will be limited. And we think there's some sort of like a laser show or a light show or something alongside potentially raids.
There's a lot of energy being pushed behind this sort of thing. There's one in London, one in LA. Mysterious hype. They seem to be pushing it on socials.
Daily tweets, there's countdowns to this event.
It almost feels like hourly tweets, genuinely. It's so frequent. It's so weird. So just saying, next week we'll be able to bring you some more information about that. But that's wrapping up the Season of Light. It's basically a 6-hour global kind of raid day with all of the Ultra Beasts being made available in their specific regions. So we'll have seen Katana and Celesteela returning to their various hemispheres, and then Pheromosa, Xurkitree, and Boswell returning to their Go Fest regions. So unfortunately, boys, we've been lumped with Pheromosa, which is wonderful.
Big cockroach.
Giant fast cockroach. And then we've got Guzzlord returning again. Woo! And Nihilego obviously in the mix. So every region gets 4 Ultra Beasts.
But I think the live events get potentially all of them.
Again, we're going to have to bring the details next week, but that's sort of wrapping up the Season of Light. Let's pray, boys, whatever the next season's going to be, it's better. Come on, it should be better.
Absolutely.
It's got the Christmas event in it. Come on. Party Hat Wimple returning, please.
Or Pontiac Caterpie. Cowboy Hat Caterpie.
Cowboy Hat Caterpie. Give the people what they want. Shiny Crygirl, or whatever it's flipping called. Give us the shiny snowflake this year. Cryogonal, that's the one.
That potentially could be released, because I think that's probably the only shiny that can release this year, actually, thinking about it.
Shiny Cubchoo still needed. This is the year, I feel. It's going to happen.
Come on.
Shiny Cubchoo.
It's like Coops' Delibird.
Coops' Delibird. My sort of final bit on it, and I think the Ultra Beasts has been one of the best releases of a concept or something into the game. I've enjoyed it. I like the little daily sponsored gifts you get at the moment in the game. You click on it, it gives you another poster talking to you about coming, what's this? I love that. It brings back memories of like the TV channel.
Great, and I'm loving getting all those potions and berries.
Yeah,
I'm getting Stardust.
But I think the point I'm making is it's almost like the TV signal's been interrupted and another broadcast is coming on. I love all this thing. And let's talk about on the podcast, boys, very quickly. Pokemon UK got a picture on the Pokemon GO app tweet with the sightings of the Ultra Beasts.
AR shot,
Pretty cool.
My AR skills were actually utilised, which is quite funny. I also saw the tweet and someone was like tagging, you put your pictures here.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to see.
You beat me, Marlon. I got my circuitry in there in a cornfield and it didn't quite satisfy the judges. But
Kitty Pokemon's a lot from Go Hub got you, unfortunately.
yeah. Point I want to make is I love how they've been brought to the game, but I am just not a big raider. You know, I don't particularly like the Ultra Beasts. I'm not excited about the Ultra Beasts. They don't give me any tingling feeling like I want to go and raid them all again. I mean, I'm not dissing it. I think this is probably something, I love the way they've brought them into the game, but for me, it's been really one or two and done on them all because that's just the way I feel about them.
I quite like that conversation, genuinely, because they are new, and I agree with you. The concept of how they brought them in with the found footage, we've seen so much more found footage, AR kind of clips, like there was the one in the cable car from Tokyo, wherever it was, with Lunala coming in to attack Circuitry. It's been sensational, but I do think the biggest problem, and Marky Boy making the comment of not really raiding them too much, and I'm somewhat in the same boat, not having a shiny available automatically kills a raid boss these days. If something doesn't have a shiny potential, people don't raid it. They wait until the next time it comes out. That's where they've kind of been lumped. And we saw something similar to this, again, the season of Alola, when they wrapped it and said, all the Tapu Bunda legendaries are coming back.
No!
They're all coming back for, at least this time it's only for 6 hours on a weekend. That time, when it was the Tapus, it was a whole week. You're like, we've had these over the last 3 months, dudes. Like, what's going on? So I'm feeling that a bit, Marky Boy.
Who knows? They might surprise us all and maybe just drop them in on the weekend. How amazing would that be if you're raiding them and then suddenly you've got shiny circuitry and you're like, oh!
Stay alert, trainers. We will report to you next week.
Yes.
When they've been and gone.
When they've been and gone, yes. We'll give you the aftermath in 10 days' time, or wherever it is. But guys, thank you very much for that. It was a nice chat, and we'll be flicking the Season of Light switch off. But because Coops isn't here, he can't complain about this game concept. I want to throw it over to Senor Vassafal for a game. What's the Ducklett?
Okay, so back by popular demand.
People love this, actually.
Yeah.
No, don't do my game like that.
You did your game,
It's the Ducklett.
It's not flex game.
Okay, so this game, for anyone that may not have heard it, because I think this is only like the third time or fourth time we've played it, I will read you the description, the Pokédex description of a Pokemon, and you have to guess what that Pokemon is.
I'm excited to give this a go as a contestant.
Okay.
Ian's going to pick Pokemon that aren't in the game either. I know what Ian's like. He's going, right, this looks like a Gen 10.
I'm scrolling through my Pokédex on Pokemon Go. These will all be in the game.
I think I specified that in the rules. Just to stop him doing that tomfoolery.
This Pokemon makes its protective cocoon by wrapping its body entirely with a fine silk from its mouth. Once the silk goes around its body...
Oh!
It hardens.
Cascoon. Yes!
Cocoon it is.
Sorry, once Cocoon is out of the way.
Yeah, it was the only other one you could really go for. Or there was Silcoon there. You could have gone Silcoon.
That's true. I just picked the one that alphabetically went first.
Okay, so, right, let's go a little bit further. This Pokemon are friendly toward people and will approach boats closely. The patterns on their backs differ depending on their habitat.
They approach boats.
Mm-hmm.
So as a fish.
Basculin.
I was going to say that, to be honest, as well. But I didn't, Ian. Did I say the name of a Pokemon in that one? That's a tricky one.
It is.
Finneon.
Ooh.
They don't have differing patterns, that's the problem.
Okay, so I'll give you another clue. So, as we've said before, friendly toward people and will approach boats closely. Their patterns on their backs differ depending on their habitat. This is a water and flying type.
Mantike.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Mantike.
It's a Mantine then.
Hey!
Mantike.
Wow,
Yes.
I would not have picked that one.
It is Mantike. So it's 1-1, so we're going to have to go to a tie-break.
I'd have never thought. I've forgotten about Mantike.
It's when you went flying. I was like, right, let's take it.
Flying.
So are we ready, boys? This is the decider. So this Pokemon infiltrates tunnels that Pokemon like Diglett and Dugtrio have dug and quietly waits for prey to pass through.
Drillbur.
What? Dunsparce.
So this Pokemon infiltrates tunnels that Pokemon like Diglett and Dugtrio have dug and quietly waits for prey to pass through. This is a dragon-type Pokemon.
Oh my god.
Jangmo. Jangmo, is it? Jangmo?
Jangmo, yeah. Trapinch. No, that's a ground type, isn't it? This dude becomes a dragon. That's stupid, Milo.
Okay, so I need to give you another clue.
Have you got another clue?
This Pokemon infiltrates tunnels that Pokemon like Diglett and Dugtrio have dug and quietly waits for prey to pass through. It's a dragon-type Pokemon. Its Pokédex number is 621.
I don't even know what gen that would be. I'm trying to work it out. 100, 200, 300, 4.
Axew?
I don't even know what gen it
621 is low.
Is it?
Hey, I went the wrong way.
Which way did you go, Milo?
I went to Unova.
Oh, you went Unova, did you? I don't know, and you're going to have to give another... I don't know any...
Come on, final clue.
Okay, the last clue that I can potentially give you. It's currently in raids.
Oh, Drudigon.
Oh, Drudigon. That stupid little thing. Jeez.
So it's not so easy, is it, Whitfield, when you're on the other end of this game?
I never said it was easy. Drudigon goes down Diglett's tunnels. No, it bloody doesn't. Look at the size of the thing.
According to its description, it does.
So, as I say, Groudon partners up with Dunsparce in its tunnel. No, it doesn't. It can't fit. Oh, well. Anyway, Marky Boy, well done. That was a stellar effort.
I like that game. It's a good game, Ian.
Maybe me not hosting it. Maybe we'll pass the hosting things around.
Rotate the hosting.
How tall is Drudigon? I'm genuinely curious. It's as tall as me. It's like 6 foot. How does it fit in a tunnel made by Diglett? It's 1.87 meters tall.
I'll refer you back to my comments when I said about seal. A seal doesn't have a big spike on its head. You told me it's the description.
I know. It's stupid. It just makes you think like, what? I think that's good. Well, I mean, Marky Boy won the game, and now he has something else to share, and it's not a photo of a cow from his garden. It is, in fact...
It is. It's the news.
I love Nick.
So you need a rural sound effect trainer in there. Go on.
I like Nick.
Hey.
So we've got some news. Nick, loving you as always, my man. So we've got some information around dates, certainly for next season's community days.
Nice. STDs.
And there's quite a few STDs to go around here, so you all can...
Oh, nice. The more the merrier.
Involved. So the announcement says, trainers, now that the Season of Light's final community date is behind us, we'd like to share next season's community day dates.
Nice.
Good old Nick. He's very nice tonight. So on Saturday, December the 7th... Saturday, December the 17th to Sunday, December the 18th, look forward to the return of all Community Day Pokemon featured in 22 and 21 in one exciting weekend.
Nice.
Woo, Hoppip, yay.
Hey. I can imagine we'll get boosted shiny rates for the 6 hours like we did last time, and then they'll all be around at non-boosted rates for the whole weekend, pretty much, on the next day, which is fun. I do like the com day. Then we've got these dates to put in the calendar. Saturday, Jan the 7th, next year in 23. Nice. We'll be getting a Community Day Classic on Saturday, January the 21st.
Nice.
Maybe it'll be Pikachu. Who knows? And then oh God, yeah. And then we've got Sunday, February the 5th for the other Community Day. However, the announcement goes a little bit further. Hello, Nick. Community days aren't the only events on the horizon. Here are the dates for additional in-game events coming in December.
Nice.
So what we've got is Saturday, December the 3rd, Saturday, December the 10th to Sunday, December the 11th. And this is always a one that everyone can take part in. Christmas Eve to Christmas Day.
Nice.
Quality.
Save those dates, everyone, because, I'm sure you've got nothing planned for that.
Actually, don't, because Christmas Day you need to listen to our podcast.
You can be doubly antisocial.
But it's funny, isn't it? That I know we spoke about that before, But yeah, save those dates. If you're not doing anything on that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, there'll be an event to play. So knock yourselves out, people. Stay tuned for more details about December Community Day and beyond. A lot of STDs there, boys. What do you think?
Holy
Who
dolly!
doesn't love a bunch of STDs? Fantastic.
There's a lot of STDs there, though, isn't there?
Fantastic. They're giving us all this advance notice, not just of the upcoming community days for whatever the winter or summer season, if you're going to land down under, what the Com Day and a Com Day Classic is going to be, but also some other weekends in December, which is good. But we know exactly what the Com Day rollback is going to be like in December, but throw out maybe some predictions for what we could see for January and February in 2023, and what would be, do you think, eligible for January Com Day Classic?
Do like a prediction, don't we?
Because I know, Marky Boy, I'll throw mine into the ring first. You mentioned Shiny Cryogonal for the Christmas event.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. I'm wondering whether, I know it may be a bit potentially rubbish, but January Com Day, could we see Vanillite 3-stage evolution?
Ooh.
Possibly.
Winter Community Day, Ice type maybe drop like that, and then February better be Togetic.
You say that every year.
It won't be.
Every year.
It's not even close to Valentine's Day this year. Last year, at least, it was the 12th.
I think for Community Day Classic being a winter one, what about Swinub?
Could be a good shout.
I'm going to go down the line of Ice type, and the fact that it had its Community Day in 2019 or 2018?
It was 2019, yeah.
2019.
February 2019.
I need some more Kanji XL.
I know a bunch of people are praying it's Beldum.
I'm actually in that camp, but I've got a gut feeling it's probably going to be a starter.
Well, we've had Bulbasaur and Mudkip.
I would love it to be Beldum.
It would be cool if it was Beldum. And Steel type coincides
I'm hoping
with winter vibe, looking at the weather boosts.
With Bulbasaur's had its classic, hasn't it? As has Charmander's had its 2.0. Probably imagine Bulbasaur, not possible, Squirtle, I mean, possibly.
Squirtle, maybe.
No.
But then we had Mudkip, and that kind of jumped.
Did?
You know, we had Shinx Com Day back at the end of 2021. We could see maybe a Timber Com Day crop up. It could be somewhat maybe for February.
Well, we all predicted that would happen this year, but
we
did.
had Dino and we got Litwick, which was two decent rare mons compared to 2021
we had
being
two
one.
good community days, yeah.
Maybe Snowy Shiny Cast Form released into the game.
Drop that, yes.
Just drop that as a nice little seasonal. I know
Cast
it's
Form
obviously...
Com Day.
God, imagine that.
Mental.
It would be mental. I mean...
It doesn't evolve, so it's not going to happen.
No, but if they did it wrong, imagine like the cast form that appears is dependent on the weather you have for the entire Com Day. So people just get partly cloudy, normal cast form for 3 hours.
Partly normal. Oh, it would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, don't.
I mean, I've got a feeling that Cubchoo might get a Com Day. I've just got this.
You were just praying to get it.
I know.
You just want that shiny, don't you?
I want it. I mean, you wouldn't want to see a Chimchar Classic Com Day, would you, Ian? Imagine
no.
No. Imagine
I
that.
think Milo would actually secretly closet like a tepid community classic. Because he was really feeling it when was in your village.
I'm just thinking, all right, so, it will be like Hoenn Tour, and we've seen, like, the Gen 3 starters, Megas crop up in the APKs that have been posted and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be one of the other two. Like, we might see Torchic or Trico to coincide with the Com Day Classics because of the future Mega.
Kecleon Community Day is invisible.
Just before
just an empty map.
That'd be brilliant. Everyone's just tapping a blank game. There's nothing here.
So, guys, why is Kecleon not in the game? What's the deal with that then?
They're saying it's down to the mechanic behind it, but they're going to have
to drop
if
it.
they are doing Hoenn Tour, they're going to have to find a way of fixing
drop it
it
as a shiny. Don't forget that, because it will have to be like, Ditto in the Kanto Tour research where it was a guaranteed shiny, because obviously Hoenn Tour, everything's going to become shiny from Hoenn. But I remember Michael Steranka saying they wanted to do something with AR and have the proper AR functionality, and they've had a lot of AR development over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years. So I'm hoping they're getting everything right, because if they do Hoenn Tour and don't bring Kecleon out, there's going to be uproar.
There's going to be uproar.
People are like, you can't platinum medal the Hoenn region, which is nuts. But yeah, please not a Chimchar Com Day Classic. Oh my god, please no.
Chimchar Community Day has bad memories because Mark and I were in, where was it, Chichester?
Chippenham, Ian.
Chippenham, that was it. It was Chippenham.
Yeah.
And then we had the raids for Galarian.
Wheezing.
Yes.
And we duoed it, didn't we, Ian?
We literally duoed it. It came down to about 1 second left.
Ooh, raid friends. Then we discovered Milo, didn't we?
I think actually going back to that day, it was funny. We spent more time on that community day doing the Go Rocket team leaders that day.
Do you remember how brutal
they
were?
We actually did catching Chimchar.
They were brand
so
new
hard.
at that time.
You mean you were like?
I'm sure they used to be harder than they are now.
Yeah, Sierra had Lapras second mon, and it just destroyed everything.
It was like that though, wasn't it? Unless we can say our Pokemon have got stronger now since they were
Back in my day.
It went back in our day when it was launched.
Team Rocket was bloody hard.
I just remember me and Ian like going, "Have you done it this time?" And us going, "No, we need about a 5th attempt. Hold on, we'll get this right."
It took about 20 minutes to take one of the leaders down.
And then me and Ian did not know you, Milo. Then, so you were like,
I don't think Milo was even creating content at that time. Actually,
I just started.
Okay.
One of my first videos was probably I was Trapinch Comedy, but Chimchar Comedy was going.
We did not know about Ealing.
No, we didn't know about the superiority of Ealing Parks, but Incensed podcast was but a glint in the milkman's eye.
I know. If only we'd started a year earlier.
At that time. We'll wrap up this chat on that note. Thank you for the STDs, Marky Boy, and sharing them with all of our listeners, who I'm sure are eternally grateful.
We care and share.
We care and share.
That's just unfortunate.
Before we dive into possibly the main bulk of this episode, we do need to
tap
on our WhatsApp messages.
Nice segue.
Well, what we did there,
That was
Milo.
totally unprepared. So you may remember Ian actually launched this. We would like you to leave some voice messages, and you may have heard Lachlan from the Way Spotters podcast singing, and then we obviously had Big Daddy Rap Beast,
Pen Pal Simon,
doing the Incense podcast rap, which was awesome. We have a phone number. Ian, what is said phone
The number you can reach us on, and please send us some voice messages. We'd love to hear your voices in the show. Anything. You can say anything. You can have an opinion. You can just literally go wild.
You can have
whatever
an opinion.
you want, as long as it's
long as you have an
broadcastable.
opinion.
Yes, you are allowed an opinion. You can reach us on +44 75 92 69 56 96.
Lovely. Thank you for that, Ian.
And I think you've actually got a text WhatsApp message for us, haven't you, Milo, based on a chat we had last week?
I do, yes. So this is from Tracy Fury. Thank you very much for texting in. We do say voice notes would be funny because then we can actually hear your voices on the show. But this is a text that says, "Guys, Dracy Fury here, Midlands Pogo player and Wayfarer addict. Just listen to your recent cast about trades. Now, you can trade with anyone in the world via Pokemon Home, plus Pokemon from Pogo. I've honestly forgotten all about Home. Anyway, I've sent many unwanted legendaries to retirement in Japan. The mon I get from there, I just set free. Anyway, trading is a tedious pastime. The idea I've come up with...
Can't really argue there.
The idea I've come up with in my mind is to use the same coding as multiple egg hatching to do trades en masse. This could be a max of 12, 20, or even say 50, so you can swap all in one go. It would pull the algorithm it uses for the hatching codes, and Bob's your aunt trades done. This could also be done with gifting and opening gifts. 40 gifts in one go, gimme. Thanks, and a thumbs up emoji to end off." Thank you very much for texting that in. We had to read it out because obviously it's off the back of last week's show, the trading discussion. I think we all sort of come to a consensus it is a tedious pastime, to be honest.
Trading, yes, absolutely.
It's quite long. As Mark worked out, I've wasted about 8 days of my life doing it.
But you did multitask for most
Probably
of them.
even more since last week.
Yes. What do we think of this idea? Like, just quickly.
I don't think personally I would mass trade, but that's just me. I've got to start actually trading before I mass trade.
You gotta get back into the trade scene before you think of the logistics, I guess. Marky Boy, I know that you obviously don't have too many players in your local area, but when you came to Ealing, for example, whatever, would you encourage you to do a batch of trades with somebody?
I mean, I'm assuming sort of the concept is like, you know, let's trade 15 Pokemon then, mate. I pick my 15, you pick your 15. Once we're connected, line them all up, like almost when you select them to transfer them, go boop, 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 and then they all go around in one ball, do they? And they it throws the 15 back at you, and they get the
15 Pokeballs.
Yeah, you imagine that. It'll just go
all over the screen. Then it'll crash your game.
Yeah.
In principle, I like the idea.
I do, yeah, I do.
But I don't think Niantic will ever either Niantic or TPC will never allow it.
Yeah, I think if you take it away from the fact that we allow it to actually the game, you know, they couldn't introduce a new Pokemon without killing the game. And I think
Let alone a whole new mechanic for trading.
Yeah, I just feel that would cause potentially a few more problems. I do like the idea. I think as they're speeding the game up, and I think as Pokemon's evolving, Pokemon Go I should say is evolving, I think they're aware that people want to play it quicker maybe. I agree, I don't think it'll happen, but maybe. I don't think it's an impossible thing to put into the game.
No, I concur.
I like the idea of bulk gift
do.
openings.
Well, that's been a request since gifts were first in place. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, some of my local players like, just where's the mass gift? Can I just go?
Yeah, just select tick 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 the ones you want to
Yeah.
open.
I like the idea, and I personally it would work really, really well, say, after like a spotlight hour or a com day, where you've got a bunch of the same Pokemon and you're just trading them with somebody for exactly the same mons, and you're doing it for resources or whatever. If it's different Pokemon, it might be a bit more tricky, I guess, because then you go, what's going to be lucky, what's not, where do you get your XL from, etc.
And that's one of the things that would potentially hold this whole thing
I think
up.
so, but I think the main issue with something like that is we know why they don't do certain things with Pokemon Go, and it's because they want you to go and interact with certain things. It's like why they wanted to reduce the radius for Pokestops again and make you walk to way spots, and they want you to do this and AR scan that for research tasks and stuff. They want you to interact on a personal level, really.
I mean, you just look at Elite Raids, 30
Elite
meters.
Raids, well, that's now 60 meters, but still the principle is exactly the same. Is they want you to be within range of a location. Probably the same with the trades, so they want you to actually spend time with another player and interact and do that and try and maybe...
Yeah, if you could just do like 15, 20 trades in, let's say, 20 seconds, there's no...
There's no
It's not
interaction,
personal,
really.
is it? It's not really,
Yeah.
They want you to sort of get to know each other, don't they, and all that stuff.
And the social aspect of the game is massive.
That's what Niantic want. Player meeting a new player that they've never met before. So during the time that they're perhaps trading, they can have a conversation and maybe...
And get to know somebody,
and chat that way. That's why I think they won't implement something like that. And thank you for writing in. We all three like the concepts. Unfortunately, we don't think it will come to fruition.
And this is what we're saying. We like people's opinions. Send us things. They can be talking points for us.
Indeed.
We might not always agree.
Stimulates the mind, doesn't it, and discussing it.
Stimulates the mind.
Yeah.
Moving on to the main discussion, which is something we haven't really discussed properly since dropping in conversation when we had trainer tips on the show way back, and actually briefly mentioned when we had Pokemon Master Holly on the show a couple of weeks back. Campfire. So Ian, lead us into a little discussion about Campfire, because it's had had some updates.
Yeah, since the initial rollout back in July before GoFest Seattle, quite a few revisions and updates to the Campfire service, to the point now where there's actually quite a lot you can do on Campfire. We've all got access to Campfire, and I personally do enjoy using it. There's always the discussion, because one of the things you can do with Campfire is set up communities, which we have our Incensed community, and you can join it. There'll be a link in the description of this episode. Communities are great, but the setup of Campfire community is very, very similar to that of Discord. So a lot of people are saying, well, what's the point in us using Campfire for that? Because we could just use Discord. So there's, I wouldn't say pushback, but people are very confused as to why they should use Campfire when they're already using all of these other services for their communities.
Yeah, when they've been using Discord for donkey's years.
Exactly. I suppose the simple answer is it, in theory, integrates with the game a lot better. We'll have a little brief chat around why it integrates with the game better. So obviously this is Niantic's baby. They have taken inspiration from Discord. In terms of the community aspect, not only can you have different channels, different chats, basically like you do with Discord, but you can set meetups in. So if we were to do a community day down in Ealing next year, or Hoenn Tour, for example, we can actually set a meeting up on Campfire, and you can all join and say if you're coming, and you'll find us.
Yeah, it's like event registration, which is really cool. I think it's the thing of getting another community going is what a lot of people are holding back on, but we've all now had access to 8 invites, I think it is. You had 3 initially and another 5.
Yeah, it was initially 3, and then they added another 5 recently.
Yes.
And the idea, I guess, is for exponential growth. So I'll invite 8 people. The people I've invited will each invite 8 people, so on and so forth, until everybody's on.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of wishful thinking, but that's sort of the brainchild, the wish, the dream.
They want the butterfly effect, don't they? Marky Boy, have you utilised Campfire of late?
Not really, no. For a rural trainer, it doesn't really offer anything. I think I like the idea of Campfire. If you're going to a bigger place, you want to play it somewhere different to where you know. I think Campfire will replace Facebook groups for Pokemon Go. It will replace Discord servers. Like Ian said at the beginning, why would you change? Well, actually, it integrates far simpler, so you haven't got to rely on people putting posts and you seeing it 20 minutes later, 25 minutes later, and all that jazz. The only way I've used it is when potentially looking at areas to see what the game is like.
The map is
The
great.
map is brilliant on it.
Yeah.
So good. And actually, I will scan at the towns near me just to get to. I mean, if remote raiding wasn't a thing, I think it would have a lot more appeal. Go on there, look at the raids that are appearing and going, all right, actually, there's 2 or 3 over there. Let's try and get some interest and let's try and get over there and do some of these raids. I think the problem with remote raiding, we won't go down that rabbit hole. You can get an invite for any raid anywhere. So quite nice, actually. And when new things are happening, you can just flip it all the way to New Zealand, can't you? Look on it and go, right, what's coming up? What's hatching?
Yep. So sticking on the map thing, Mass427, you are a rural trainer. Flares are a thing. And now, for some people, you obviously know you're not the only Pokemon player in the village. Mm-hmm. Have you used flares? You've got a gym literally 200 metres from where you live. Do you use flares? Have you tried to get people to meet to do raids?
No, I don't, because I don't want anyone near my house. Simples.
That's a wise choice.
Fair. Fair.
And I've never seen any flares saying that any of...
Have you not?
No, I haven't, no.
Okay.
That's the problem, is getting more people.
There are still a lot of people that don't have access to it.
But the reason I wanted to chat about this is because we talked about the Elite Raids a few weeks ago, and if anything, that second round actually provided probably the most realistic experience of using Campfire for me that I've so far had, which was we lit the flare, or I lit a flare, Francesca lit a flare, and Lewis lit a flare, 3 of us saying we're doing the 5 p.m. raid at this location. And then we had one person tag in, another person tag in, and then it created a little chat for that gym location. And I didn't know that was a function. It wasn't a function the last time I checked on the app.
No, it's relatively new, I think, in the last couple of weeks.
It must have been really recent.
You coordinate on the chat on the gym.
Yeah.
Is that how it...
Yeah.
It's a time-locked chat, so I think it disappears after the raid finishes.
The chat disappears, but it's temporary there, and anybody who lights a flare at that gym location joins the chat and can say, we had someone message, we've got 4 people in a car who are driving to the location, can you wait 10 minutes? And we said, yes, just keep us updated. And actually, these were people who are members of the Ealing WhatsApp chat, so they could have messaged on WhatsApp, but because Campfire was more accessible and easier to jump into and say, we're going to this specific location, rather than trying to tag individual phone numbers, or on Discord try and tag individual users in a server that might be X thousands of members big, limiting it to whoever is nearby can light a flare at a gym or point of interest, that was actually a brilliant addition, because then you could keep the chat going between a select group of players who are actually going to do this gym. It worked probably more effectively for those elite raids, because obviously they're in person only. As Marcus said, remote raids, it may be a little bit of a different game combating that, because you could have somebody who's in the nearby vicinity but isn't going to go to the location. Maybe they're at the office or something like that, and they light a flare and say, I'm remoting in. But it does provide an interesting backbone for coordination.
That's good. That can only be a good thing, though. And actually, I didn't think about that.
And it's an evolution. I mean, Campfire came out in July, so 4 months ago? It was out before that, but that was the mass rollout before GoFest. It was already out before that, but it has come a long way in that 4 months, and just imagine what they could potentially achieve given another year.
That's the thing. The rollout of Campfire, it's been very steady progress, which is, I would like to say, potentially unusual for Niantic, because sometimes things, as we've said, previous events can go wrong, Pokemon drops can go wrong, i.e. Aurora, but this has been done on a very steady pace and well managed, and there hasn't been many issues with it. They've actually judged this thing really well.
If anything, I'd say the rollout of invites has probably been a little too slow.
Perhaps.
But again, it's probably a very conscious decision, because there are still a lot of people in my local community that don't have access to it. There's a lot of people that have no clue on how it works, or even that it is more than just a map icon on your phone screen.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this, actually.
Because people don't always know that they need to download the app, which gives them all of the extra services.
Yes, because I think a lot of people still maybe just have the map icon on Pokemon Go that shows you the map, which we know is great. You can find, it's a bit like having those whatever it was, the free maps back in 2018 when we're coordinating a raid train, we can see all the gyms, etc. You can now do that in-game, which is brilliant. But then if you download the app, you have access to the communities, you have the notifications, people can send you friend requests, etc. from the gyms you've done.
There's DMs in there as well, so you can DM between people.
Anybody on your friends list. And the adding communities is also a recent addition, so that's why we set up the Incensed podcast one.
Join it.
So if you're not already on it, jump on board.
Jump on it.
It's not massively chatty at the moment, but that will change as we get more people on board.
Jump on it. It's not massive. I like that, Ian. That's a very nice way to end that.
It's
I feel like I was going to say that's a perfect segue.
Segue, yeah.
Thank you for the campfire chat, boys, and I guess let us know on socials if you've got campfire, because I know it's still rolling out and invites are scarcely available.
Noise.
Something that is massive.
Is that Mark's poem?
The first time we've heard Coops' voice.
It is. Apart from when he went tap, tap.
No, he said tap, tap, tap.
Oh, yes, I
see him
forget.
tapping on the counter in the Nothing to Declare booth currently. In
Let me out!
You've got Nothing to Declare, so you're lying. You've got a legend ranked Pokemon GO GBL account in your possession. Oh, dear. So it is time for my poll, and it is lovely to have it out a little bit. And it's been nice to have a few of you. Air it, yeah. Climb on board it and get involved with it.
You've actually had new options from the gold members as well to put on your poll. It's not often you get the patrons on your poll.
No, the patrons that have been able to join it on a Thanksgiving evening as we record this. Been very.
I've got a funny feeling that one of the patrons is going to win the vote because one of those was gold.
So the question was, which of these is the most overrated? That was the question, and we had 48 people vote. We will start in reversal order. Sorry, Nick. So in fourth place, we had In and Out, which is a burger chain.
Nice.
It jumps up to 21% for third place on the podium. And with 21%, football or soccer is seen as overrated.
Nice.
To be fair, I'm happy the fact...
Milo, we lost big time.
We lost big time.
I know.
You lost big time. But no, to be fair, there's a few people, including yourselves, that probably voted for that. So it got 21%.
I didn't actually.
Trust me, I didn't jump.
I didn't
touch your poll tonight, sorry.
Could have been higher then.
I did touch it, but I didn't vote for that because there was one that was completely way better.
Love that. In second place, with 29% of the vote, was
Formula One. Oh, okay.
Formula One.
Nice.
So that means with 42%, and I think a resounding victory on this one, Love Island scored 42% of the vote. Nice.
I think that was the justified winner.
Yes,
Absolutely
I do
fantastic.
as well. Great addition to the said poll.
Why are your panties in such a twist?
Oh,
We haven't
Echo!
It fits with Love Island.
It does actually.
does. It definitely does.
Thank you to ML Fog 2022 on the gold Patreon tier for that suggestion. That was gold.
Definitely. Now we've got one comment on the poll.
Okay.
Just one.
Yeah, and it was Lucy Davis. Darn it, can't vote. Missed it due to work and getting the bus home. Oh, sorry, Lucy. But didn't actually say what she'd have voted for.
That's just unfortunate.
But no, I think he's a bit quieter on Twitter tonight, and I think for obvious reasons we know why that is.
Absolutely. We know why. We have to say we're a bit late, obviously, because the show will be going out many days later, but happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Indeed. I forgot to worm it into the intro.
I hope you're all watching Planes, Trains and Automobiles, because if you're not, I'll be very disappointed.
Don't watch Love Island.
Don't.
No, don't watch Love Island.
Don't do that.
Watch John Candy and Steve Martin.
Yes.
But Marky Boy, thank you very much for your poll. You can zip yourself back up as we swing into our favourite section
Shinies of the week.
of the show.
He had that jingle ready, didn't he?
He was on the ball.
Okay, so I'll go first, and I am going to throw it out. We've already talked about her once tonight. She actually picked the winning answer on Mark's poll. ML Falk, 2022 Gold Patreon member, hatched today from a 2-kilometre egg. First hatched shiny since I started playing in March. Head blowing off emoji. Hashtag Shinies of the Week at Incense Podcast. You know what? It's the OG. It's the shiny Magikarp.
Oh, it's the golden carp.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Fantastic.
GG's.
Well, congrats on first hatch shiny. It's very, very nice. I will jump in next with Shan, aka at Ginger Dweeb, who has joined us on many a Com Day or Go Fest events in Ealing. Damn, never had that before. Not only did I catch my first bird, I had 2 spawn in 1 incense.
That's
Not
lucky.
gonna lie, I had a mild heart attack mid at Incensed podcast when I saw I actually caught the Zappy boy. Hashtag Shinies of the week. Hashtag not actually a shiny, but don't give a toss.
That could be the new hashtag.
I love that hashtag. So, Daily Incense, the blue version of us. Shanna's managed to actually catch a Galarian Zapdos, which is awesome.
Milo,
What?
you know the new hashtag?
Yes.
Clarify the spelling for me.
O. No, don't put O. It doesn't start with an O. That is hashtag NOTACLYASHINYBUTIDONTGIVEATOSS. I'm pretty sure I got something wrong in there. But unfortunately,
I think you butchered that, but it's a long one. That's
it
a long
will be
hashtag.
better in the edit, trust me. Anyway, unfortunately, a 26.49 Galarian Articuno ran away, but I think the Galarian Zapdos is definitely a winner, so
Yeah,
congrats.
the Zapdos is
It
nice.
is like the most underwhelming buddy to have, though, isn't it, in the game? Because it walks around like Big Bird, doesn't it, Galarian Zapdos?
I haven't put one as my buddy yet.
I remember, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Chaz, actually. Chaz Browder did, there was certainly an image of it. What you envisage it looking like, and you see, Galarian Zapdos in the sky soaring, looking, powerful, and, rah. And what it actually looks like in the game is just walking behind you, like Big Bird, going, all right.
It's a Roadrunner. It's a Roadrunner.
We haven't mentioned it with Milo tonight, but this person is sharing that love with Milo. So Apex at Edgar Ramirez 92 says, normally here at Incense Podcast and at the Whale Lords Monday morning, but the World Cup has just started. So I had to hear them in the afternoon whilst working. I was able to hatch one of these. Hashtag Shinies of the Week. Hashtag No Error Penal. Hashtag Viva Mexico Cabrones. There might be a football reference in there. Yes, they hatched a shiny Pawniard. Milo.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Come on, Milo. You've been quiet about
Yeah,
that.
you've not flexed it, mate.
No.
Don't tend to brag about what we actually get. Come on. Congrats on the shiny Pawniard hatch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chinese
Nice.
Apex.
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I haven't
They're
seen
fantastic.
too many of them, to be found on social media, so I'm guessing it's is it full odds?
Actually, I'm going to give you a sidebar, guys. Since Shiny Pawniard was released,
Yeah.
all I seem to be hatching from 12Ks is bloody Scralp.
Has it changed, has it? Because you were
Yeah,
hatching
I'm
Pawniard-
sure that...
Oh.
You get a lot more Sandal these days than you used to.
Yeah, they've changed the mix. It's not Pawniard on every hatch at the moment.
I've been quite lucky in getting a lot of Pawniard. That's how I managed to probably get my shiny. Genuinely getting 6 Pawniard per egg batch, which is nuts. But
I've not done any yet. No 12k eggs yet.
If you're not, I've had a couple of Scralp.
I think it's the Rocket Radar Milos that just get 12k eggs like they're going out of fashion.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But no, lovely Shinies of the Week. That shiny Pawniard's amazing.
Congratulations, Apex, and also Gold Tier Patreon. Thank you for joining.
GG's.
GG's.
Well, congrats to all, and thanks everybody who's written in. Even if we didn't read them out on the show, we really do love to see what you can get while listening to our episodes. Use the hashtag, not the really long one that I just butchered. Use hashtag Shinies of the Week on our socials to potentially feature in our favourite section.
And also start using the hashtag content with content.
Content with content.
But that is going to do it for this week's show. So if you enjoyed, you can automatically get us downloaded to your podcast platform of choice by hitting the follow or the plus button. That would be splendid. And if you could drop us a 5-star review while you're at it, that would be spiffing. I haven't heard that word for a while.
Spiffing, wow. That's been a few.
Spiffing.
I think it was like February 2021 when you last
It was
said
like
that.
episode 2. We'd love to see a 5-star review, and we'd like to read them out. When we get a good batch of them, then we'll read out a comment from the 5-star reviews. And if there's a 1-star review in there, we may read it out for Bants. Who knows? But a Mark's poll-sized thank you to the bronze and silver tier Patreon supporters. Thank you very much. And if you could imagine Mark's poll with more options, Elon, what are you doing? That size thank you to our gold tier Patreon members who are HermesNinja, TishSmith, JB, CliffordMert, DerbyRuss, Kerry and Zachary, Dom the Ragnarok, Connolly, Kimber, ML Fault 2022, and most recently, Apex 171. Thank you very much to each and every one of you, because without all of your support on the Patreon, the podcast would not be sounding as smooth and non-butchered hashtags as it does.
Smooth as silk. Milo, Mark, good news!
What?
Well, we've got new merch in our new merch store.
Oh my god.
What?
A new merch store?
Yes, and currently, as an introductory offer with our new merch supplier, there is...
The next 12 days from the release of this episode, should I say, on the Sunday.
Yeah, if you're listening to this in 2023, it probably isn't still running.
Check, there may be some kind of thing going, but currently there is 15% off all of our store, which you just need to go into the store to redeem it. So the link will be in the show notes, I guess, Ian.
It will replace the old merch store details in the show notes, and there's some pretty cool stuff in the store. Again, without going too hard sell, the hoodie that I was wearing on Community Day back in October will be available. There is a vast selection of t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, mugs, you name it, it's probably in there. And if it's not, let us know. We'll try and get it available if our supplier permits it.
Absolutely. And the shop is Spreadshirt. Click the link, grab some Incensed podcast merch.
And tag us on Twitter.
Or Hive.
And tag us on Twitter, Hive, TikTok, Instagram.
Campfire.
So just tag us so we can see it, and then we'll shout you out because we want to see this merch out and about.
That'll be absolutely marvellous. And now, guys, I'm not even going to ask if anyone got anything over this recording. And on that bombshell, we'll see you in December with some actual content. Take care, everyone.
Throw a cow in there, I like that.
What's the cow doing in there?
I'm not sure.